Welcome to CAS 133 hybrid version, Columbia Gorge Community College, The Dalles, Oregon. This is going to be an intro for the hybrid version of the course. It is also offered in an online version. Most of the rest of the term, throughout the videos, they will be the regular online version. But for the first video, we needed to do an update to address the hybrid portion of the class. Basically, what a hybrid class is, just so you're aware, is you have a face-to-face, put your body in the seat in a classroom requirement in addition to an online component that's also a required portion of the class. You spend less time in the classroom than you would in a regular standard face-to-face, and you trade that off with the online part of it. So, basically each term, a date and time will be picked. It may be a once a week, it may be 2 or 3 times a term, and those will be obviously posted in the syllabus and in the college catalog. The day of the week may change, so I'm not going to address those types of details in this video other than to say be sure you check your syllabus and your college schedule. Get them on your calendar early on so you don't forget to go to class. It may not be a regular every, like I can anticipate it's every other week, or I can anticipate it's every this day or that day. So make sure you get it down and don't miss it. There's usually credit given for attendance in those sessions. Those sessions are your instruction portion of the class that supplement and support the online component. When you first log into Moodle, you'll get something that looks like this. And how this course is going to be set up, you will actually have 2 instructors. One instructor will be in charge of the face-to-face component, and then the other instructor will be in charge of the online component. So you log in, there's some information about it. Both of your instructors' information is here also, so you can contact us. Talks about what you need for materials and books, those types of things. Also, as you go down the side, there's usually some information down the side, like their activities listed, assignments, forums, those types of things. And those are shortcuts. Everything's in the center part. You can get to it by going down the center, but these are shortcuts to get to them. When you first get in here, you're going to get a lot of stuff to kind of read. This is like start here. This is everything you need to know. And there's some differences between online and face-to-face classes. Face-to-face classes, kind of the instructor stands up there and hands you all the papers and says, these are the course policies, these are the due dates, these are the due times, this is what you have to do, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whereas in an online course, this is kind of that same thing. So it's really important you do go through and read through that. Hybrid course due dates may change throughout the term. Well, not throughout the term, but throughout the course of the course. In the sense that with the online component, there's always a set due date. It's always a certain day. But if you're meeting on Mondays in a term, then the assignments are going to be due different than if you're, say, meeting on a Thursday during a term. So that will, again, be always put into the syllabus so that you have it from there. And it'll be in course announcements and things like that, which brings us right here. This is the instructor's news forum. Obviously, it's the beginning of a term. There's nothing here yet, but I'm Mrs. Hughitt, and I will be your online portion of the course, and I will be posting announcements here. In fact, we both may be, but I will be predominantly posting announcements there. And those are going to be things that you need to read that are really important. They're going to keep you from making mistakes, from having things go wrong, or from maybe having to redo work. These are support links. These are only if you're getting stuck. You may not need these otherwise. And then the very first thing that has to happen before we even really kick off the term is you need to read about academic honesty. You need to read about plagiarism, which is basically stealing. And you need to take a test right there. It needs to be typically done by Thursday at 8 o'clock. Now, if you're meeting like on a face-to-face class on Friday mornings or something like that, we may adjust that, so that may change and be listed differently depending on when your face-to-face component meets. The grade will get posted here. There's also a video on cheating in CAS 133 or any other course really. And again, it needs to be done. And again, those dates and times may change based on when that face-to-face component is, because that may change from term to term. And it's fairly easy to be updated. The first form is introduce yourself. Let people know who you are, why you're here, those types of things. And then you'll move into week 1. And how the weeks are set up for each week is week 1 has the support materials at the top. Then it has the required instructional materials, including a video that will usually walk you through how to do things. Then it has your kind of directions. It has like the goals. These are the college required pieces where it says like, okay, these are your goals. These are what you're supposed to be learning. This is what you're supposed to be doing during this week. And so that's always kind of grouped in there. And then a sort of a summary. So that's not all the details, but it kind of like reviews and reminds. And then there are sometimes directions or checklists, those types of things. This is where you'll actually turn your work in. By clicking on this, it will open up the assigned area. It gives you a place to add a submission. And then you basically find your file that you want to upload. Let's say I want to upload this file, and I'm going to bring it over here, get it so I can see it. And I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to drop it right there. Once it's had a chance to basically go through the process of uploading it, you will hit Save Changes. If at some point you come back to this, you go, oops, that wasn't the file I wanted, or I needed to correct that file, something like that. Once it's uploaded in here, then you can do a click on it, and it will bring up a box that will let you have an option to delete. So unless it's marked, you can only upload once. And there are a couple of assignments that are set that way. Normally, you can go in and re-upload it. So like, I've now saved my changes. And I've moved on, life's gone on, I've done some more. Oh, I did that wrong. I saw a direction I missed. I need to go back and edit my submission. Click on that, delete it. I'm okay with that. And then I would drag and drop the corrected one. Or if I didn't want something there, I wasn't quite ready, I could move on. This is a toolbar along the top, so you can go back to your course that way. So I'm now back to that main page. There'll be more information about week 1 in week 1, but that gives you just kind of the structural thing. Week 1 does not use Microsoft Office per se. It uses WordPad and Paint, learning some other tools in your Windows program. Then in week 2, we actually move into doing internet, email, buying a computer, those types of things. And then in week 3, you have to have access to Microsoft Office and to the textbook. If you're waiting for financial aid, if you're whatever, you're stuck at that point. So make sure that you have all the parts and pieces that you need before we start week 3. There's nothing I can do to rescue you from missing materials. Okay. Once you've uploaded everything, you've got everything done for week 2, you're going to move on to week 3. Now, week 3 is where we start the textbook. It has a fairly substantial video to go with it. And again, it's one of those types of things that some things will change in this week depending on when your face-to-face component is. In the sense that it says Monday right now, but the video actually will say Wednesday on it because it was made for the regular online version, which is always static Wednesday. This course, though, this version that I'm making this video for, and it may change by the time you actually listen to this video, will be on a Monday night. 5, 6 o'clock dinner time, basically. If you have it in by then, after dinner, I will go through and grade. And what I'm doing right there is not really grading. I'm going through and I'm looking for disasters. I'm looking to see if you have any major mistakes, and if you do so, let you know so that you can go back and redo, correct, repair before you move on to the next portion of the week's assignment, which is the application project. So that gives you kind of a basic structure of the class. Everything you need week by week is down by center. You have shortcuts on this side. And basically, if you work your way through, people say, oh, what are the check boxes? The check boxes are basically there that, like if you see on this one, I did an upload, it's now been checked. So if I open materials and I check it and I look at it, those types of things, it allows me to, it has 2 features. One, it automatically checks it when I've done it, therefore I know I've been there, done that, and I don't have to worry about did I miss looking at that. The other one is an optional one, like not everybody needs to use this link, so if you do need to use it, you can add the check mark to it if you feel the need to. So like up here, you'll notice these are solid boxes, so when I've read it, I can then add the check link to it. These are dotted boxes. Those mean they will be added automatically after I've done the material. If you have any questions, you run into any concerns, it's always better to email and ask. Now, there is a Moodle messaging service available inside Moodle that doesn't work for me very often. I also travel a lot during the term, so that means I'm accessing on different devices in different places. And what ends up happening is a lot of times I don't get messages through Moodle messages, or I have trouble answering them through it. So please use my email right here, lhughitt@cgcc.edu, if you have questions or concerns. You will be meeting with Mrs. Rosenhaler in your face-to-face component. She will let you know how she prefers to have you contact her, whether it's through email or Moodle messages or whatever. So, I think we're ready to kick off the term and get started. Welcome to CAS 133.